Prepare to be inspired by the incredible journey of a self-made billionaire. In this audiobook, we'll delve into the life of a mysterious financial titan, revealing the highs, lows, and key mindset shifts that propelled him to unimaginable wealth. As you listen, you'll uncover invaluable advice and strategies to elevate your own success in business and finance. Can you guess who he is? Share your thoughts in the comments and join the conversation. Chapter 1. Imagine growing up in the heart of Brooklyn, where the relentless grind of daily life was as constant as the sound of the subway rumbling beneath the streets. This is the story of someone who emerged from the most challenging of circumstances to become a monumental figure in the world of business. Our protagonist was born in 1953, the oldest of 3 children, into a world far from the comforts of luxury. For the first few years of his life, he and his family lived with his grandmother. Their modest existence took them to the Bayview Houses, a federally subsidized housing project in Brooklyn's Canarsie neighborhood in 1956. The building they called home housed about 150 families, each squeezed into a small unit with a single elevator that struggled to serve the needs of its residents. Our hero's family occupied a cramped 2-bedroom apartment on the 7th floor, where space was a luxury they could scarcely afford. Despite the less-than-ideal living conditions, this young boy found solace in his surroundings. He learned the art of coexistence with a diverse group of neighbors and always had a circle of playmates. "I did not have an unhappy childhood, but we lived daily with the constant stress of financial issues," he later reflected. "There were times when I felt angry and ashamed of our situation. By the time I got to high school, I understood the stigma of living in the projects and knew I had to escape the struggle my parents lived with every day." His father, a World War II veteran, had never completed high school. He toiled through various blue-collar jobs, from driving a cab to working as a truck driver and factory worker. Often juggling 2 or 3 jobs simultaneously, he strived to put food on the table for his family. The weight of his father's struggles was palpable. He was a beaten man and what we now call the working poor, our protagonist would later describe. "My mother, who also did not graduate from high school, was a strong-willed, powerful woman. Even though she and my father had not achieved the American dream, she felt her children were entitled to a piece of it. Her biggest dream was a college education for all 3 of her children." From an early age, this young man exhibited a remarkable work ethic. As a gifted athlete, he spent countless hours playing with neighborhood friends, but he also understood the value of hard work. At just 12 years old, he began earning his own money with a paper route, followed by a job behind the counter at the local luncheonette. By the age of 16, he was working in Manhattan's garment district at a furrier, handling the difficult and low-paying task of stretching animal skins for just 5 cents per skin. One sweltering summer, he endured the grueling conditions of a sweatshop, steaming yarn at a knitting factory. His heart ached for his parents' struggle, and he routinely sent a portion of his meager earnings to his mother, driven not by obligation but by a profound sense of empathy and responsibility. In this chapter, we witness the early seeds of determination and resilience being sown. Our protagonist's story is a testament to overcoming adversity and harnessing the power of relentless effort. His journey from these humble beginnings to achieving greatness is a powerful narrative that underscores the profound impact of mindset and perseverance. As we move forward, you will uncover how these early experiences shaped his path and led him to revolutionize an industry. The road from the cramped apartments of Brooklyn to becoming a billionaire in the business world is filled with lessons of grit, ambition, and transformation. Chapter 2. In a bustling high school with nearly 6,000 students, making a mark can be a challenge. Yet our main character achieved a notable triumph by securing the role of quarterback for the football team. This accomplishment was more than just a personal victory. It was a significant achievement that drew the attention of a recruiter from a well-regarded university. The offer of a scholarship to play for this institution was a golden ticket, a chance that felt as exhilarating as an invitation to a major league draft. He knew that this opportunity was a game changer and a pathway to a future he might not have otherwise envisioned. Armed with this scholarship, our protagonist was determined to seize the chance. However, the financial reality of higher education meant that he needed more than just a scholarship. He took out loans and worked part-time during the school year, ramping up to full-time work during the summer to cover the costs of his education. His chosen major was communications, a field that seemed to align with his aspirations and set the stage for his future endeavors. His graduation marked a significant milestone as he became the first person in his family to earn a college degree. Returning to his roots in New York, he embarked on a new journey, joining the sales division of a major corporation. His time at the company was transformative. Over 3 years, he honed his skills in sales, marketing, and presentation, laying a solid foundation for his future career. But by 1979, despite his success, he began to feel a restlessness. The corporate world felt limiting, and he was drawn to new horizons. An intriguing opportunity emerged when he learned that a Swedish company was planning to establish a U.S. division for its houseware subsidiary. It was a chance to be part of something from the ground up, a growing company with untapped potential. He seized the opportunity, took a leap of faith, and was soon immersed in 3 months of intensive training in Sweden. This experience quickly propelled him to a leadership position as vice president and general manager of the U.S. operations for the subsidiary. The year 1981 brought a pivotal moment. He discovered that a company based in Seattle was placing substantial orders for drip coffee makers from his employer. Curiosity led him to visit this company, a retail establishment with a modest presence but a burgeoning reputation. At that time, this company was a decade-old business with a few stores and a small team, known for selling coffee beans and other products. The visit to Seattle proved to be eye-opening. The company was a hub of activity and innovation, and he was captivated by both the business and the vibrant city. In 1983, he decided to join this company, taking on the role of head of retail sales and marketing. His new position was both exciting and challenging, offering a fresh perspective on the business world. During a buying trip to Italy, he encountered a culture where coffee wasn't just a beverage, but a passion. The Italian coffee bars were more than just places to get a caffeine fix. They were social hubs, deeply ingrained in the fabric of daily life. This experience sparked an idea that would change the course of his career. He envisioned transforming his new company's stores into coffee and espresso bars, an innovative concept that could revolutionize the business. In 1984, he persuaded the original founders to test this idea by opening a new store in downtown Seattle, embracing the coffee bar concept. The result was a resounding success, demonstrating the potential for growth and transformation. However, the founders were hesitant to embrace this change on a larger scale. Faced with this resistance, he felt a deep sense of frustration and realized that he needed to chart his own path. By 1986, he made the bold decision to leave and pursue his vision, driven by the belief that he could turn his innovative idea into a reality. Chapter 3. An Italian Revelation. Buongiorno. A thin, older man behind a counter greeted me with the warmth of a neighbor welcoming an unexpected but valued guest. The rich aroma of freshly ground coffee enveloped me as I returned his smile and approached the counter. It was early morning in Milan, Italy, my first visit to the city, and I was on my way to a trade show. Drawn in by the inviting scent, I had wandered into this espresso bar. It was 1983, the year I turned 30. Sidling up to the counter, I was captivated by the man behind it. With a practiced precision, he ground coffee beans, measured the dark grounds, and packed them into a short-handled basket, which he then inserted into a gleaming chrome machine. The machine gurgled as he pulled a lever, releasing streams of amber liquid into a tiny white porcelain cup. Throughout this dance, he chatted in quick bursts of Italian with 3 other customers who stood side by side at his bar. Intrigued, I watched him and thought, who is this person? As if on cue, he placed one of his carefully crafted beverages before me. Holding the dainty cup in my hands, I felt as if I had been given a precious gift. I sipped the punch of flavor. "Grazie," I said. The way he prepared and served coffee was unlike anything I had seen in American restaurants, where coffee often sat in reheated pots before being unceremoniously dumped into dingy mugs. But this was theater. What is this place? I was utterly captivated by what was clearly an ordinary occasion for the locals at the bar. I wanted to stay. At the time, I was working as the director of marketing for a small coffee roaster and retailer in Seattle, known for its rather risque mermaid logo. Our company specialized in roasting and selling whole bean coffee from all over the world. Through my work, I had already learned that coffee wasn't just an efficient caffeine delivery system. It was a nuanced and flavorful beverage to be savored and appreciated. The company I worked for was founded in 1971 by 3 visionary entrepreneurs. After meeting 2 of them in 1981, they had taught me that the coffee most Americans consumed came from beans called Robusta, which were cheaper and inferior in flavor compared to the finer Arabica beans that we purchased. We roasted our coffee beans dark, a European tradition that many aficionados believe brought out more of a bean's flavor. Most Americans, myself included, were accustomed to beans that were more lightly roasted, which was why, when I had my first taste of our bold, dark roast, I was overwhelmed by its flavor. My parents only drank instant coffee or ground coffee from a can, which my mom made in a tin electric percolator when we had guests over. The stuff I guzzled to perk me up during college or during my morning commutes was swill compared to my first sip of our bold dark roast. As I stood in that Milanese espresso bar, I felt a profound sense of inspiration. Here, coffee was more than just a drink. It was an experience, a ritual that brought people together. The barista's skill and the ambience of the bar made every cup of coffee feel like a small performance, a celebration of the art of coffee making. I realized that this was what our customers back in Seattle needed to experience. It wasn't just about the coffee itself, but about the entire culture surrounding it. In that moment, I envisioned transforming our coffee shops into a similar experience. We could create a place where people could not only enjoy high-quality coffee, but also connect with each other and appreciate the artistry involved in making each cup. This idea sparked a new direction for our company, one that would eventually change the coffee culture in America. Leaving the espresso bar, I felt invigorated and determined. I had a vision, and I knew that with the right mindset and strategy, we could make it a reality. This was the beginning of a journey that would not only redefine our company, but also revolutionize the way people experience coffee. As I continued my travels in Italy, I soaked in as much as I could about their coffee culture, always thinking about how to bring that same magic back home. It was a pivotal moment in my life, one that shaped my career and our company's future in ways I could never have imagined. And so, the journey began. Chapter 4. An Epiphany in Milan. 1 year into working at a well-known coffee company, he believed he had learned everything there was to know about coffee. That assumption was shattered the moment he walked into an espresso bar in Milan. After sipping his first authentic Italian espresso, a rush of excitement and curiosity overtook him. He thanked the barista, paid the cashier, and embarked on a journey through Milan's coffee culture. Each block seemed to host another espresso bar, and he spent the entire week exploring these bustling havens. Some were minimalist espresso pit stops where men stood at narrow counters bantering in Italian, while others were elegant, spacious spots frequented by a diverse crowd, women with children, students, retirees, and friends simply hanging out. The energy in these places was palpable. Even when a shop was quiet, it hummed with a unique vibrancy. Opera music often filled the air, providing a stark contrast to the clanky, fluorescent diners he was accustomed to back home. The baristas, who often spoke English, were the gatekeepers of an intricate dance involving water flow, temperature, pressure, and time to extract the fullest flavor from finely ground coffee beans. The process, requiring precise pouring, grinding, weighing, tamping, waiting, dripping, and cleaning, was a performance, as choreographed as a ballet, as energetic as a football play, and as sacred as a ritual. He learned that the dense foam topping an espresso is called crema, and when espresso mingles with steamed milk, it transforms into a café latte. His first sip was a revelation, a symphony of sweetness and silkiness he had never experienced before. None of the coffee experts he met back in Seattle had introduced him to the theater and romance of espresso like this. Italians, he realized, had elevated coffee from a mere commodity to an art form. They created warm, welcoming spaces where baristas knew your name, and coffee brought people together. Like wine, coffee was a social beverage, but it had the added benefit of being a stimulant, fueling conversations or deep introspection. These cafes and espresso bars were integral to daily routines, offering familiar comfort and community. The vibrant cafes of Milan reignited feelings he thought he had left behind in his youth, a sense of belonging. This epiphany was electric, filling him with ideas. He became convinced that Americans would respond to the espresso bar experience with the same curiosity and delight he felt. He saw this as the next step for his company. At that time, his company only sold roasted beans in its 5 stores. They didn't serve beverages. However, with its reputation for exceptional coffee, the company was perfectly positioned to introduce the United States to the theater and convivial community of the espresso bar. On the flight back to Seattle, his mind buzzed with plans. He jotted down ideas and even sketched designs to integrate an espresso bar into their existing stores. Arriving back at the company's offices, he was brimming with enthusiasm. However, the founders did not share his vision. They wanted to remain focused on selling whole bean coffee. He respected their dedication but felt a strong pull in another direction. He was relentless in his pursuit, convinced that the espresso bar concept could transform the company into more than just a coffee roaster and retailer. Eventually, he persuaded one of the founders to let him set up a tiny espresso bar inside a new store at 4th and Spring Streets in Seattle. Tucked away in a corner, it quickly drew customers, many of whom tasted their first cafe latte and returned daily. Despite this success, the founders were not interested in expanding the concept. He was heartbroken, but understood their cautious stance. They respected his passion but didn't share his vision. After staying with the company for another year, he decided it was time to follow his own path. He left to start his own venture, determined to control his destiny and bring his vision to life. This bold step marked the beginning of a journey that would forever change the landscape of American coffee culture. Chapter 5. The Relentless Pursuit. Seated at their dining room table, I was ready to make my pitch. I had brought architectural drawings and a meticulously detailed business plan that outlined how I would allocate every dollar invested to build 100 stores. Before diving into the documents, however, I shared with Carol and Ron the inspiration from my trip to Italy, the mesmerizing espresso bars, and my conviction that the coffeehouse experience belonged in American culture. My enthusiasm grew with every word. As I began to unfold my papers, Ron stopped me. "Listen, our expertise is reading people," he said. "How much do you need?" That evening, Carol and Ron wrote a check for $100,000. They were not merely investing in my concept, they were investing in my vision and determination. I left their home elated, but also acutely aware that I now carried the weight of my new friends' trust and money. Losing their investment or their friendship was not an option. I naively believed that raising the remaining $1.4 million from other individual investors would be as straightforward as securing the first $250,000. I was unprepared for the arduous journey that lay ahead. At that time, I had no experience in raising funds from venture capital firms, which were not as plentiful or accessible in the late 80s as they would become later. Bank loans were out of the question for me. My memories of my parents' heated arguments over unpaid bills and the humiliation of being put on the phone to deal with debt collectors or ask friends for money were still vivid. These experiences had ingrained in me a deep-seated aversion to debt, despite understanding, as a business person, that debt could be manageable and was often necessary for a startup's growth. Credit is vital for businesses to purchase equipment, pay rent, and hire employees. However, the mere thought of debt still stung, making the prospect of funding the venture through a bank loan untenable for me. Beneath my suit, tie, and amiable demeanor was a young entrepreneur haunted by the financial instability of his childhood. Instead of seeking bank loans, I approached individuals to invest their own money in exchange for equity in the company. Although this would dilute my ownership stake, it was a sacrifice I preferred over the burden of debt. In the months following the initial commitments from Jerry, Gordon, Carol, and Ron, I faced over 100 rejections from potential investors. People ignored my calls, hung up on me, or met my proposals with skepticism and suspicion. Many agreed to follow up, but never did. Some lectured me on their superior knowledge of retail and implied that my idea of building espresso bars to sell unfamiliar drinks in paper cups was foolish, essentially labeling me as foolish as well. Even some of Seattle's prominent business figures mocked my concept while condescendingly explaining why it would fail. The constant rejections took a significant toll on me. Often, before meeting a potential investor, I would walk around the block several times to calm my nerves. Many nights, I returned home to my wife feeling dejected. Despite her pregnancy, I tried to shield her from my stress. Each morning, I would wake up, walk our dog, and straighten my tie with renewed resolve. "Today will be a good day," I would tell myself before heading out again. I met potential investors for breakfast and lunch, often sitting at the far end of long conference tables in high-rise offices with expensive views. Persistence was key. Every rejection fueled my determination. Each meeting, regardless of the outcome, was a step closer to realizing the dream. I was driven by a vision, not just for myself, but for the countless individuals who would find joy and community in the coffee houses I dreamed of building. The journey was challenging, but every obstacle strengthened my resolve. With each step, I was closer to turning that vision into reality. Chapter 6. The Chessboard of Life and Business. Growing up, I discovered the game of chess thanks to a diverse group of men who gathered around benches in the housing project where I lived. These men, from various walks of life, played chess with a fervor and focus that captivated me, even though most of my friends had no interest in the game. The quiet intensity, strategic thinking, and competitive camaraderie of the chess players drew me in as much as any sport or game. My father, on the other hand, had no appreciation for chess. Despite his meticulous approach to baseball, he viewed chess as too cerebral. Perhaps the fact that I enjoyed something so different from his own interests made him uncomfortable or threatened. Regardless of his reasons, he disliked chess so much that he forbade me from playing it at home or in the park. But my love for the game was too strong to be deterred. To avoid my father's disapproval, I would sneak off to distant parts of the park, far enough from our apartment building to reduce the risk of being spotted by someone we knew. For me, chess was not just about winning. It was about continuous improvement and mastering the game's complexity. I was fascinated by the foresight and intricate strategies it demanded. I learned the rules by observing and asking questions. "Why did you move your rook there?" I'd inquire. "How did you capture his queen?" My teachers were the regular park players who seemed to have endless time for the game. Despite their seemingly jobless state, their intelligence was unmistakable. They answered my questions with patience and wisdom, and I eagerly absorbed their guidance. Some even gave me old pamphlets and worn-out books on chess, which I hid from my father and read whenever I could. One day, I made a move that clearly displeased one of the regular players. He frowned, leaned over the board, and whispered, "Kid, great chess players know how to play both the opponent and the board." "What do you mean?" I asked. "The opponent is one-dimensional," he explained, "but the board has all these angles. Great players understand how to play all the angles to maneuver effectively." This advice to view the board through a wider, multi-dimensional lens revolutionized my chess game. Reflecting back, this lesson was invaluable when I led Starbucks, especially upon my return as CEO. Just like in chess, understanding the multifaceted nature of business situations allowed me to navigate complexities and make strategic decisions. Tips for implementation. 1. Learn continuously. Just as I absorb knowledge from the chess players, always be open to learning from those around you. Seek mentors and ask questions to deepen your understanding. 2. Strategize thoughtfully. Approach challenges with a strategic mindset. Consider all angles and think several steps ahead. In business, this means understanding not just your direct competition, but also the broader market and internal dynamics. 3. Adapt and overcome. My willingness to sneak off and play chess despite my father's disapproval shows the importance of adaptability and resilience. In your career, be prepared to find creative solutions to obstacles. 4. Play the long game. Chess taught me the value of long-term planning. In business, focus on sustainable growth and long-term objectives rather than short-term gains. 5. View challenges as opportunities. Each chess match, whether won or lost, was an opportunity to learn and improve. Apply this mindset to your professional life by viewing setbacks as chances to grow and refine your strategies. By integrating these principles into your daily life, you can develop a mindset that not only helps you achieve your goals, but also adapt to and overcome the inevitable challenges along the way. Just like on the chessboard, success in business and life comes from a combination of foresight, strategy, and continuous learning. Investor at a time. Chapter 7. Embracing Challenges and Pioneering Change. In the journey to success, embracing challenges and pioneering change are essential elements that define true leadership and drive innovation. When our protagonist took the helm of Starbucks, the company was already a well-known brand, but there was a vision to elevate it to unprecedented heights. This chapter delves into the critical mindset shifts and actionable strategies that enabled him to transform Starbucks into a global powerhouse. At the core of his strategy was a relentless pursuit of innovation. He understood that to stay ahead in the competitive coffee industry, Starbucks needed to constantly evolve. This wasn't just about introducing new products, but also about reimagining the entire customer experience. The goal was to create a unique and memorable environment that customers would associate with comfort and community, not just a cup of coffee. Another pivotal moment was the expansion into the digital realm. Embracing technology, Starbucks launched its mobile app, which revolutionized the way customers interacted with the brand. The app allowed for mobile ordering, payment, and loyalty rewards, creating a seamless and convenient experience for users. This digital transformation not only boosted customer satisfaction, but also drove significant growth in sales. The takeaway here is clear. Leveraging technology to enhance customer engagement can be a game changer for any business. Our protagonist also understood the importance of nurturing a strong company culture. He believed that the employees were the heart of Starbucks, and their satisfaction directly impacted the customer experience. By fostering an environment of respect, empowerment, and growth, he ensured that the employees felt valued and motivated. This commitment to a positive workplace culture translated into exceptional customer service, which became a cornerstone of the brand's success. Adversity was not absent from his journey. When the global financial crisis hit, Starbucks faced significant challenges. Store closures, declining sales, and financial strain tested the resilience of the company. However, our protagonist viewed this crisis as an opportunity to reassess and realign the company's values and goals. He made tough decisions, including restructuring the organization and refocusing on core values, which ultimately led to a stronger and more resilient Starbucks. This chapter teaches us that in times of crisis, staying true to your values and being willing to make difficult decisions are crucial for long-term success. In addition to these strategic moves, he placed a strong emphasis on social responsibility. Starbucks launched various initiatives focused on sustainability, ethical sourcing, and community engagement. These efforts not only contributed to the betterment of society, but also strengthened the brand's reputation and loyalty among customers. The lesson here is profound. Integrating social responsibility into your business model can enhance your brand's value and impact. To implement these strategies in your life or business, start by embracing innovation and continuously seeking ways to differentiate yourself. Leverage technology to enhance customer engagement and streamline operations. Foster a positive workplace culture that empowers and motivates employees. During challenging times, stay true to your values and make decisions that align with your long-term goals. Finally, integrate social responsibility into your business practices to build a brand that resonates with customers on a deeper level. Through these mindset shifts and strategic actions, you can navigate challenges, drive change, and achieve lasting success. The journey of Starbucks serves as a testament to the power of vision, resilience, and innovation in transforming a brand and making a significant impact on the world.